Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. Well, it was England who won the toss in St. Lucia, put South Africa into bat. Now, South Africa got off to a flyer. They got 63 runs in the power play, basically on the back of Quinton de Kock going hammer and tongs. But England has managed to pull it back, and South Africa's only got 100 runs more in the remaining 14 overs. Now, you'd say that's definitely well done by England, because at 63 in the power play, you're thinking 180 for sure, 200 perhaps if you go well. But that was not to be, because England pulled it back. Post the power play, there were only 2 overs that went in double digits. There was a Mark Wood over, that was the 16th, and a 19th over by Sam Curran. The rest were all single digits, and you'll take that 6 days a week and twice on Sundays. This is Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur, with me, Michael Vaughan and Adam Gilchrist. You'd have to say that England will go into the change room right now pretty happy with what they've done.
Yeah, I mean, the power play was excellent for South Africa. They dominated, but from 7 overs right through to 20, England were exceptional. They put the squeeze on, great variations, all the seamers bowling plenty of slow balls. Managed to get Quinton de Kock. It was a great catch by Buttler. Jofra Archer, who got hit for 21 in his first over. But you just look at that 7 to 10, that's where it started, 24 for 1. Then they squeezed again 11 to 15, and they had a little bit of a comeback down the back 5, South Africa. But you look at that 10 over burst in the middle. Yeah. England just squeezed them and they just couldn't get away. And Reza Hendricks at the top, he just had one of those nights where he couldn't get going. And the key wicket of Klassen, I think Klassen came in, they bowled a few dots to him, and then obviously the run out is a big play in this game.
Yeah, I've got to say, Jos Buttler, we'll get to him in just a second, or rather we'll talk about him right now because the wicketkeeper can talk about that, so we'll just get Gilly in on it. First, that catch, and then that run out to pick up the ball and throw down the non-striker's end wicket with Klassen. Just both those pieces. Take your pick.
Yeah, the catch first, that was, got rid of the danger man at the time. Diving high to his left. He's a very athletic keeper, moves really well laterally. So, he's pulled that off. The run out was just exceptional. An element of, you pick up, you sort of almost turn blind. You've got to know the general area, but so, you just clip the edge of the stump there, but you hope that you practice those little things. Certainly, I remember spending a lot of time in red ball cricket, just trying to practice those exact little drills, if you like. Have someone just throw the ball that way, sprint, pick up, throw at the stumps, because it makes sense in white ball cricket. The fielders spend so much time throwing at a target, so the keeper, you just never know when you might need to get one of those. And all this going on while he's got the computer going non-stop about who to bowl when, next over, the balance, what's going on, trying to make judgment calls. So he's not ever really an animated character, Jos Buttler, is he? But he looked like he thoroughly enjoyed that run out. Just a little scare, a little spring, a little fist pump, but that's about it from him. Yeah. But rightly so, because that's a game-changing moment, that run out for sure.
Yeah, because it's not just the fact that he's got an accurate throw from that far out, it's who you get.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You get Klassen. Definitely, without doubt, best batter on current form for South Africa. You get him cheap and you get him out like that. That's double bonus.
Yeah, brilliant work from Buttler. I have to say it's a bit dozy from South Africa because I just think they switched off slightly. Miller calls the single. I think Klassen probably thought, he's not going to throw at my end. I reckon he switched off just for that split second. Apart from Quinton de Kock and a bit of David Miller, they had that kind of innings, South Africa. I'm just trying to judge the pitch. Is it one of those pitches that's hard to get in on? There's only really Quinton de Kock made it look very, very easy. Miller hit some nice sixes, but even Miller 43 off 28, there was times when you thought he was even kind of struggling to knock it around. So I'm just waiting to see England bat on it, because when you see one standout who comes out and hits the hard ball, the fresh ball in the power play so well, and everyone else struggles, and you're looking at Klassen 9 from 13, that's very unlike Henrik Klassen over the last few months. He's been outstanding. So I'm just waiting to see in terms of the pitch, but it almost kind of summed up South Africa from the 7th to the 20th. Didn't quite have that intensity.
But you talk about the power play, and that's interesting because the opening partnership, Gilly, there was 87 of 9.5. And you had Quinton, who was red hot, and Reza, who was in the freezer.
He was locked in there, wasn't he? He looked like a player who's concerned for his position in the team, not playing with any authority and the freedom of going, if I do miss out, that I'm safe. I think off air, Vaughnie, you made the point, if it's, if he's going to run a ball, well, you could say, okay, well, he's getting off strike, getting the danger man in Quinton de Kock back on strike, but he chewed up and over.
Yeah.
And how valuable 6 balls is in this format. So, yeah, it just didn't look like he had real intent. And that then just put a bit more pressure back on Quinton de Kock to have to keep going and almost brought him out about his demise a bit earlier with that catch. Mark Wood was just a bit, I'm not sure whether the wind blew it, held it up, and he didn't quite get the hands under it, but it was deemed not out. So, yeah, batting in partnerships, match awareness, and then you've got to be aware of that, obviously, but slight lack of confidence, I think, in his position in the team.
But South Africa will be happy with one thing, is that Quinton de Kock now has had 2 games back-to-back where he showed some amazing form. He's shown being completely destructive in the power play, and that, of course, is great news for South Africa, because today his innings was fabulous.
No, he's a class act. I mean, those shots that hits through the onside, that pickup shot that he kind of gets down the fine leg for 6 is a tremendous skill. And then he played that lovely little flick down over third. A vacant third had been brought up into the circle, and he just went, well, thank you very much.
This is all Jofra Archer, so 2 6s and a 4.
The 21 I think came off Quinton de Kock's bat. So, yeah, he's a fine player. And I said before the game, he is a real fear for the England team, so he's done it many, many times. He's done it in Test cricket, 50-over cricket, T20 cricket. He just seems to like facing the England attack, but they could have done with another 6 or 7 overs of him. They really needed him to get that 3 figures. If he had, I think they'd have got to that 200 target. But you could see that he was getting frustrated. There wasn't the rhythm coming from the other end, and the rhythm's not just obviously runs from the other end. It's getting him back on strike quickly. You could see there was a bit of frustration, and every time he was on strike, because the scoreboard had not kind of got ticking, he's probably thinking, well, I've got to try and find another boundary.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of pressure, and he dealt with it brilliantly. But that was a brilliant catch to get rid of him.
Yeah, there was some good catching from England overall.
It's the best I've seen them field for a long time. I think at the start of the tournament there was many criticisms of the England side. It was a kind of selection; they didn't quite get it right. The fielding looked poor. They didn't look athletic. Well, I have to say that's as good a fielding performance I've seen from the White. But you go back to the World Cup here, they didn't field well. Yeah. That's as good as I've seen them. As a group in the field, they were outstanding.
Yeah, the Harry Brook catch, the Sam Curran catch, so all of it, they were good today. But let's talk about David Miller as well, because it's interesting, because David Miller, is actually now become that senior experienced pro who shepherds the chase for South Africa. But batting first again today, he had to you could see that he had to adapt a little bit. He got the 4s, but he stuck around. I think he realized that was when England had the squeeze on, so it was important for him to be there. He was there, but 150 strike rate, that's good.
Oh, that was a vitally important innings for South Africa. It was almost like one of those chases where you're on the back foot halfway through, so he just consolidated and then launches at the end in pursuit of a total. And he would have had a total in mind. I think probably around 175 to 180 would be their greedy total from where they were in that middle stage. That ball he got out on was right there to hit too. He'd be disappointed he didn't hit that cleanly and clear the rope. And if he faces another 4 or 5 balls in that innings, they're up around 180 probably. But a bit of fluency for him at the back end there. It was just, I just think that the overall innings, it was a top and tail. We saw that in the stats. That middle sort of 10, 12 overs was just some fantastic bowling, great intent. England did everything perfectly. Maybe that Wood catch, he could have, if he secures that, well, he thought he got it. Yeah. But but they were right on point for that.
There was definitely a bit of grabbing the surface. Yeah, those slow balls were definitely against the West Indies. It was skidding onto the bat. It's a day game. Bit of sun beating down. There's certainly a little bit more stoppiness to the surface. So I don't think it's an easy chase. But I felt that against the West Indies, I didn't think it was going to be an easy chase, and they strolled it. Yeah. So this England side do have the ability and the power, and particularly Salt in the power play. If he comes and fires, which he's got the ability to do so, they can almost knock the top off the chase in the first 6 overs. And if they do that, I think it'll be a stroll in the park. But if they get Salt early and they get into this England batting lineup and they put 1 or 2 players have not had Harry Brooks, Liam Livingstone, they've not batted a lot. Yep. They haven't had much time in the middle. If South Africa get down to that kind of engine room of the England team, it's going to be a close game.
We must talk about Jofra Archer because he went for 21 in that over that he bowled in the power play. And then the comeback, he in his next 3 overs, that's 18 deliveries. He's bowled 9 dots in that.
Yeah.
That's a solid comeback. That's a champion comeback.
I think his use, the timing of his slower ball has been exceptional, I think. As a batter, I've said it a few times, when you know someone's got 150 up their sleeve, you're looking for that all the time.
Yeah.
You're aware, you've got to be on for that, just simply because of the lack of reaction time. So then, when it's not that pace, by the time you've picked up that it is a slow ball, you're behind play. And he's executed it really well. I think he's done a fantastic job to come back. And that's the importance of captaincy and of leadership, of letting your bowlers know that you can go for 20 odd, you can go for 35 off 3, but know that you've got 1 over left to make an impact in the game.
And also what you found with Jofra, he's always going to bowl his 4. Yeah. Even though he went for 21 in his first, there was nothing in the captain's engine thinking, I'm not going to bowl him his 3.
Yeah.
Now, Mark Wood, if he has a 21 run first over, you're probably not going to see Mark Wood again.
Yeah.
But Jofra Archer is an absolute shoo-in as a skipper that he's going to be bowling his 4 overs, even if his first over goes.
Yeah, let's talk about Adil Rashid as well, because when you have him, and you had him in the last game, he's done the same job, Voni, that he did, as you said, in the game against West Indies. He just comes and he basically just slowly strangles the life out of the innings like a serial killer.
Yeah, England use him, and some people will say, he bowls the easy overs, but I think he plays such a role. He doesn't bowl anything in the power play. So I don't ever remember seeing him bowling over in the power play. He generally bowls the 7th or the 8th, and he kind of gets his overs done by about the 18th.
Yeah.
But he plays such a role because not only is he bowling dots, he's squeezing, he gets wickets, and you can just see, even though he's been around for, 10 years? You can still see that the batters don't pick him.
Don't pick him at all.
They're not picking him.
It's the same role as Zampa plays for Australia, so effectively. You very rarely see him in the power play. But straight on, immediately
Zampa probably a little bit more goes up, but Rashid almost bowls it out the front of the hand, so he's kind of bowling it with this trajectory. He doesn't. You look at Shamsi when he comes, he's not playing there, but when he goes up, so as a batter, you see a bit of flight. You think step it, just get it into the stands. Whereas I think Rash is a very, very difficult bowler to step hit. He very rarely just bowls an orthodox kind of normal leg spinner. His leg spinner is just a little flick, like Rashid Khan. Rashid bowls like this.
Just quickly too, the other bloke at the top of that list of that bowling card, Reece Topley.
No, he's quality.
That doesn't clean up the big wickets, but plays a beautiful role.
Yeah, he does, and you saw that his bowling numbers are good as well, as is Adil Rashid's. It's been a good bowling performance from England. They've got South Africa at 163. Michael Vaughan thinks that they could perhaps stroll this England with the kind of batting form that they're in. They could. What do you think?
Just the power play is so crucial. If they survive that power play, this opening pair, I think it's turn the lights out. It's going to be game over. So definitely need. Maharaj is going to be key. He's got a decent record against Buttler and Salt, the match up there. So he may have to bowl 2 in that power play.
He might actually open.
Yeah.
Interesting. In the power play, Keshav Maharaj. All right, but we have to guess our power play scores. What's it going to be? I don't know. You could fill Salt there. It could be 100. I don't know.
I'm going to go 50.
Well, 51 was me, so I'm going to stick with it.
Stick 51. I'll go 56.
All right.
That's it.
50, 51, 56. None of us got our guesses correct in the first innings. Let's see if we can do a little better in the second. With me, I don't know what happened, man. I left my magic touch in the IPL. It's got nothing. No guesses correct in this one. I'm kind of getting used to it. All right, advantage England, you'd say, get 164 and pretty much guarantee a berth in the semi-final if they can win today. But South Africa, you imagine their bowlers come out all guns blazing. If the pitch can help them a little bit, they'll still be in it, so don't rule them out just as yet. We'll see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox, so do join us then. Right now, from the three of us, it is goodbye.